right, go ahead.
Okay, it's 7:02, I'm gonna call the village board meeting to order. Please silence all cell phones during the meeting and refrain from using during the meeting, and look for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, public appearances and citizen comments and items not listed on this agenda. Items will not be debated or acted upon at this meeting, but will refer to the proper staff or committee if action is required. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Chrissy, did you want to speak now, or?
I would like to wait until you guys look at the future tournament
Okay,
application.
okay.
So Chrissy, I just want to be super clear that when that agenda item comes up, it's specifically about that permit.
Understand?
Okay, perfect.
Did you get my?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
100%, yes. I don't want to get in the way of the youth tournament at all.
Okay. And anybody else from the public want to speak? Please do none. Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll approve that, but can we pull item D? I just wanted to ask Jeff another question. Can we do that? I'll approve consent agenda, but pull item D.
You didn't want to approve item
I
D?
will approve it, but how do we, I just want to ask him a question about.
You can ask
Yeah,
anytime.
yep.
Okay, so I'll approve consent agenda. Jeff, what is the issue with, I just want to know, just for village information, you have 131 parking citations. What seems to be the problem?
A lot of unregistered vehicles within the alternate side. And so we're back up to 3 regular officers, and we were down to 2. Sometime last year, there was a lot of times we couldn't do the alternate side.
Okay.
Now we do, and we're trying to help out when it's the snow season. We got a petition for Scott and his crew. So a lot of it's alternate side.
Okay, I just wondered
People
if
aren't
there was a
moving-
problem.
They're not moving their vehicles.
Okay, I just wondered if there was a problem here. I also wanted to note that was surprising to me, 394 calls since January 1st. 394.
I think the number will be higher next month.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and approve or move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Item 8, consideration discussion nuclear affairs World Nuclear Championship 2026 event. Page 19, Kelsey.
Yeah, so it is included in your packet. The reason this is on new business and not on the consent agenda as we're used to is there's a new location this year and a little bit of different setup. Mary and Shelley are both here from New Glarus Cares to answer any questions. But basically they're looking to host this downtown on First Street, similar to a lot of the festivals that we're used to. Staff, including Chief Sturgeon, have reviewed and recommend approval.
And the 6 10x10 tents, they'll be along, where will they be?
So, go ahead.
You fill out the paperwork, you go right ahead.
The intent is that the bigger tents, basically, where you guys have things installed, right?
Yeah.
Those have to be placed towards the bank side, down on that end of the street. So the smaller tents are supposed to be, at the other end, but along the side of the streets, and they're really more for, we've got a couple of sponsors that plan to be there, Zucker.com and Bicycle Cards, plan to be there and have like exhibit tents. So I don't know that we'll end up having 6, but we wanted to block off that entire space in the event that we need it.
I think that the New Glarus Hotel could have 10 tower now, if that's going to be.
It will be an issue for us if it's still there. We'll have to figure out how we work around that.
Okay.
And if I could just add in, their permit to close the sidewalk says that special events downtown take precedent. and the fencing and dumpster has to be gone for special events.
Oh.
So they are very aware of that, and that First Street portion will be open and look as usual for events.
So,
And
when we originally applied, put in the application, we put in an alternate on Fifth Avenue because of that very reason. We were concerned that there was active construction at the time, that we may have to move, but unless or until the village actually puts the same type of, infrastructure in, Fifth Avenue can't support the really large tax.
And First Street's a little bit flatter, and this is easier to run.
And in better condition.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we made sure when we gave that permit for the hotel that we thought of those downtown festivals, just to be safe.
Thank you.
Move to approve the application for special event permit for World Youth Federation Championship.
Christie, you wanna speak now?
Yeah, so
Oh,
the New Glarus Merchant Association, we meant to do this earlier, apparently, because we didn't know the timeline. So, aside from that, we wanted to work with the New Glarus Cares on this event to make it, so where there would be more shopping and that people would have things to do downtown. And so, all right, what we would like to do on that same weekend, I've talked to Mary about what they have requested for a permit, already. So what we would like to do is, in addition to what they're doing with First Street, go down Fifth Avenue and have, some musicians and some yard games, some tables and chairs set up for people to hang out, play cards, listen to music, play yard games. We also are gonna do a euchre, run, kind of like a poker run, with the euchre, hand instead, for all the shops in town. And also open up the open in-talk. My understanding is that what's been requested for open in-talk is First Street and Fifth Avenue. We would prefer, the merchants would prefer if it was the regular rectangle, so that everybody could get down to Alvin House and go over to, Hot House if possible with their open in-talk. And so we're gonna do an additional
Yeah,
request,
so I just
an
want to,
additional permit.
this is completely different than what we
Completely separate.
So this will have to come back.
Yes,
So we can't discuss it, there
we
can
can't
be no.
discuss it, but my main question is, as we do this additional permit, is we're planning to accommodate the same attendance. This is there already with the euchre tournament, we're not adding additional attendance. So like, do I need to come up with, a separate emergency plan?
They're completely separate because.
But we're not adding more attendance. It's attendance is already.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question
This is-
because I just need to know what's in front of me to do.
Yep, so my email that I sent you with the bullet points of what needs to happen is still applies, it's completely separate. Their event permit covers what their closures are requested, and once it's approved by the board, it's posted on the special event permit, changes can't be made to that permit.
Understood.
So this would be a completely separate permit, and I understand it's not a completely separate event that you're looking to do, but for the permit purposes, it is, because you're closing down additional streets. So that would be something that you'd have to go through the same permit process that.
We're planning to do the same permit process, but when the questions on the permit
Yep.
process says, how many people are attending this event?
Yep,
So you want us to do our own bathroom, for example?
I mean, you would be responsible for filling out the event permit, if you have bathrooms available. And we don't wanna.
No, I
This
don't want
really
to
needs to
break
be
it
a
down.
conversation that occurs not at a board meeting, because it's not on the agenda. Does that make sense?
Sure, but I wanted to make sure that I talked about this here, so that it was all like together. And if I need to come back and do something different, that's great, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what we were trying to do. And if we could have coordinated earlier, it would have all been together. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So,
Yep,
um,
yeah. No, I think our email exchange still applies, I think all that information there is still applicable, good information, and I think we can talk about this off of the board meeting, and then bring that permit back, and then the board can have discussions and ask questions, and
yeah.
kind of go through some of those things.
Should I mean, like, for emergency services, we talk to Jeff? I mean, who do I talk to next?
Yep, so you need to fill out the special event permit completely, and then when we get a completed permit, then it goes to Jeff for review.
Right, so part of that is an emergency plan, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So anytime you're closing down a street, the same, or an event, the same.
Sure, but I'm not attracting more people. That was my only thought, right? I'm not like,
You're still closing down the street and you're still, so you still have to go through the exact same process that New Glarus Cares has already gone through.
Right, but isn't she asking what to put down for people?
Yep,
That
so,
is all, and we can do that, and
Yep.
we can talk about it
right,
outside of.
right, so, yep, and that's where I was getting at, is we're happy to walk through all of this with you, but just since it wasn't on the agenda,
Not during the meeting.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and second on item A. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item B, consideration discussion R 26-08, authorizing issuing and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $5,645,000 in general operational promissory note series 2026-8. Kelsey?
Yeah, so this is the resolution, that would approve the discussion that we had at the last board meeting, the bond for funds for the 2026 and 2027 CIP and the prepayment of the two 2025 notes. The village's financial advisor, Kayla Thor from Ellers, is on with us, and I will turn it over to her.
Sure, thank you very much. Just so you know, it is very, very difficult to hear really anybody besides Kelsey. So if I don't hear questions or ask again, just let me know. But as Kelsey mentioned, my name is Kayla Thorpe. I am the village's financial or municipal advisor with Ellers. And we're here today to basically set the sale or set the parameters for the sale of the village's just over $5.6 million general obligation promissory note. I'm going to share my screen. Amy and Kelsey, I just sent a share request. Okay, so we can all kind of take a look at the same thing. Can you all see the pre-sale report here?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And so going through this process with Kelsey and Amy over the last few months, it became clear that to capitalize on current interest rates, to combine 2 years worth of borrowing projects, and I was here a couple weeks ago to discuss that, and also an evaluation of the village's outstanding debt, it became necessary to do a larger issue and go to public market, which is not necessarily traditional for the city's borrowing needs. Traditionally, you take smaller bank loans with your local banks to facilitate those projects, and that is completely normal and fine. The village has gone to market before. We really evaluate that on an annual basis, but given this is a $5 million issue to fund multiple years worth of projects, we think it's in the village's best interest on an interest rate rating wise to go to public sale. And so as Kelsey mentioned, this is to refund the 2025A and 2025B general obligation promissory notes. Those are two bank loans taken last year by the village for capital projects and purposes for 2026 and 2027. And then sewer and stormwater and water portions of the 11th Avenue reconstruction and Railroad Street design. All this kind of stuff in the next few pages is really legal information that we must disclose to you. We must tell you kind of the process that we're laying out for you as well as the investors who may be bidding on everything. And so you have a general understanding of kind of what's going to happen moving forward. One thing I wanted to point out is that we are not seeking a credit rating from a credit rating agency. Given that the village is not a annual or even a biannual regular borrower, it's cost prohibitive to seek a rating. And so what we will do is we'll work with bond insurance companies to basically say, would you insure this if their investors want rating insurance? And they'll say yes, because they always do. And that just gives investors an extra security and really helps drive down interest rates for the village. And so in addition to planning this public sale, we did solicit bank loans just to get an understanding of what the current bank rate and the terms were. We received two rates back. One was at 4.5% and one was at 5.9%. Our planning rate for this exercise, or this what's before you right now, is 4.22%. which is a recent sale plus 50 basis points, which is 0.5%. So we've hedged very conservatively, and we're still at 4.22%. And so therefore, we still move forward with the planning and execution of the public sale. If for some reason that rates spike and the bids come in higher than that 4.5 or 5.9%, we can reject bids. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm a single mom tonight. My husband's traveling and my 4-year-old just walked into the office. So as I was noting that we can reject the bids should they come in higher than the lowest bank rate, and either resell publicly or seek the local bank loan. So it is a protection that is built in to the resolution you're adopting tonight and the process moving forward to really ensure that the village gets the lowest interest rates possible. I'm going to jump to the tables and the exhibits included in the pre-sale plan. Table number 1 is the sources and uses of fund, which is breaking out all of the different pieces who are going to be repaying the debt. In addition to the property tax levy, you have all 3 utilities paying for that, and then all of the cost of issuance expenses that are included in that as well. We have accounted for some minor interest earnings, meaning we have downsized what the village was going to borrow by temporary investment earnings. We understand that a large piece of this, specifically related to the Village Hall project, is going to be invested for a longer period of time. And really the thought process by only counting for minor interest rate earnings was that if there are any cost overruns or the bids come in higher, the village could apply any interest earnings to that project as well, or other capital projects as a whole. So all of the specific portions add up to a net borrowing size of $6 million or $5,645,000. This is a very small sheet here, but this is really just an amortization schedule by purpose. And so you understand of what the principal and interest obligations over the 20-year life of the note are by purpose, the levy, water, sewer, and stormwater purpose. We are refunding the 2025 A and B issues on a 10-year basis, really because it was small enough to be able to do that. And it fit in with the current debt schedule to have really only 1 year of levy increase before all of that starts to drop off. So you're kind of getting that off your books faster than originally planned. The next page is the financing plan tax impact, and this is really the big snapshot of you can get an understanding of what this is going to do your property taxes needed to pay for debt service. So moving from left to right, we have all of the village's existing debt and total principal and interest payments, and then minus the abatement sources. All of these negative red numbers are other utilities or sources of revenue that are used to pay debt that are not property tax levy. And we use that to really drill down to what is the net property tax levy, and then what are the fluctuations for year by year. So getting an understanding that if you borrowed no other debt this year, your property tax levy is going to decline moving forward. And so what we do is we really structure in debt to backfill that so we can minimize any peaks and valleys in debt service as much as humanly possible, because then that really results in peaks and valleys in your debt service tax levy, and then what happens to your tax bills. And so getting an understanding that there are pieces of this, small portions that will pay for debt service, about $150,000 a year from the utilities will pay this debt service. And this really results in a 1-year spike in the tax rate, just because all new money includes some tax implications. But then after that, your tax levy is going to drop forbidden that you take on any new debt. Since this debt is covering 26 and 27 projects, we have an understanding that there would be no other planned borrowing until 2028, which, as you can see, we can structure debt around some existing drops in debt service as well. So it's a really good place to be in, understanding that you can take on all of these projects and all of this new debt with very little impact long-term on property taxes. And then we take a look at your general obligation debt capacity. As you are aware that state statute limits all municipalities to having no outstanding principal that is more than 5% of your equalized value. Taking on this debt, we still have the taxable note in there as well. This would put you at about 60% of your current debt limit, which is you still have significant capacity of about, let's say, $7 million to be able to borrow. Understanding that these two CIP years are blips in the radar in the village's current capital improvement plan or historic capital improvement plan. And then we take a refunding analysis of each note, and this is where we really do our financial viability. Is it worth refunding on interest rate savings alone? And so the 2025A note currently has an interest rate of 5.44%. We are at a blended rate of about 3.8% here over the next 10 years. And so refunding the 2025A note in a current interest rate savings is about $15,000 over the remaining life of the note, which is about 6.1% of its total cost overall. We do not recommend refundings if it's less than 3% of savings over that time. And so granted, given that this is 6, we are recommending refunding in this instance as well. And then the 2025B note currently has an interest rate of 6.99%. And so we see a more significant savings of about $62,000 or $52,000 over the remaining life of this debt, which is 13.3% of total savings overall. And I knew I kind of flew through that, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
But I have a question. What did you use when you said that it approached the debt limit? I understand the 5% of the total amount.
Equalized valuation.
But our local is 70% of that 5%. Which one did you use? The 70%?
I think we used the 5%.
Okay.
But I can rerun that analysis and give it to you. The one I have included in here has the 2025B that we potentially were going to issue at the same time, that we are not issuing at the same time right now, for the TID 5, I believe, payment that is due. And so I'll rerun that analysis and give that to you, but I'm pretty confident you're fine on your internal and external debt capacity limits.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kayla?
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so the resolution is included in your packet. The motion to approve this would approve going to bond for these funds. So that's what we'd be looking for from the board tonight if you so choose.
So basically, we're borrowing money for capital projects.
Yep.
Refinancing older debt.
Yep.
To save money.
Mhm.
Pledging property taxes to repay the debt. Right?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody approached me and said that we were spending $5 million on rebuilding Village Hall.
Uninformed.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to make this very clear.
Yep, so this is a process that we do almost every single year. We borrow for capital projects in the village almost every year. This year happens to be a bigger borrowing because to keep that levy consistent, some years are smaller borrowings, like last year, other years are bigger borrowings. Because of interest rates on our old loans last year, and then just because of the amount we'd be looking to borrow for next year, and the opportunity to invest those funds and make a little bit of interest until we would need that, it made sense to combine all three of those factors together into one large borrow to get the best interest rate that we can.
And this is gonna be about, we're gonna sell bonds, right?
Correct,
And
yep.
do we normally have 20 years to repay them, or is that flexible too?
Typically, but Kayla, do you want to add anything to that?
Can you just repeat that? I couldn't really hear.
Yeah, he asked about the 20 years. Do we typically have 20 years to repay bonds, or is there other options there?
Correct. About 3 years ago, state statute changed to issue general obligation notes over 3 years, and it really kind of made bonds as we know it obsolete. So these are actually general obligation promissory notes. It gives the village extreme flexibility should one of these projects not happen you can independently reassign the money at the board's authority to different projects. Where with bonds, you had to go through an authorization process to change the purpose. And so you have a maximum amortization of 20 years. You can certainly go less, should you want, but the maximum is 20 years.
Thank you.
Motion to approve resolution 2608.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you all.
Item C, consideration of special bid award for 11th Avenue improvement.
Yeah, there's nothing. Am I good to go?
Yes.
Okay, so the bid opening for 11th Avenue was on Friday, this past Friday. Pat at Strand, our village engineer, helped us out with that. I'm gonna turn it over to him, but just so the board is aware, we do have an apparent lowest bidder. We're just waiting on a few insurance documents, so this action will be coming back for approval at the next board meeting for official approval. We anticipate everything will come through as we expect, but just to be safe. So Pat, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Kelsey. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So, like Kelsey said, we did open bids last Friday for the 11th Avenue project. We received 6 bids, which, in my opinion, is pretty good. The bids have been competitive this year, so that's great for the village. The lowest bidder, lowest apparent bidder was $2,150,540.15. So that contractor apparent low bidder is 1901 Inc. I spoke with with one of their personnel today on the phone, and something that we do with every contract is we send a letter and we have the contractor provide some supporting documentation, qualification statements, just so that the village has an opportunity to further review the contractor. That's the apparent low bidder. So 1901 will be sending their information maybe later this week or hopefully early next week so that the village can review their qualifications. And then, like Kelsey said, the next meeting, I think it's March 4th, as long as everything looks okay with the contractor, it should be back in front of you all to review and consider an acceptance of the bid. So right now it's we just wanted to give you an update to let you know where that project sits. Obviously the $2.1 million is under the 2.6 million CIP number, which is great news. So we are Kelsey will just wait until we get the qualification statement, and then we'll work through that. So hopefully we'll be back on March 4th to consider acceptance of the bid. If anyone has any questions for me, feel free, but I think the next meeting we might get into a little more detail about this.
Clarification for me, will it start at Highway 69 and go to Candy Cane Park?
No.
No?
Pat, do you wanna go over the where 11th Avenue project
The
will
east
fall?
and west end, yeah.
Yep, the west end of the project is Fifth Street, so at Candy Cane Park, and then the east end of the project is just we're doing Railroad Street, the intersection, but not going any farther than the intersection.
Railroad Street to 69. Okay.
And the reason for that is because, as we all know, Highway 69 is going to be redone in a few years here. So we're going to work that piece in because we have some water and stormwater and some sewer work to do underneath the highway, correct, Pat?
Yep. Yeah, so that work is planned for the work going under the highway is planned for a year before the highway project is. So then we'll do the work temporary, patch it to DOT standards, obviously, but then they will come back through the next year. So that project is a large interceptor project.
And how far does 69 go? How far are they going south?
Was the first phase or the second phase? So the first,
First and
yeah,
second.
so the first phase, they're starting this year, and they're starting, towards Monroe, and coming all the way to Calpac Lane. And then in 2031, they are going from Calpac Lane to, I don't know exactly how far they're planned, Jeff, do you know?
The big one.
The day one, yep. So it'll be quite a big project.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll definitely see some traffic changes here in the village, but, we specifically planned out this portion of the street project not to spend money now and then tear up a brand new road for utility work in a few years. So, that's why there's a method to the madness, if you will.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes, of course, you're welcome.
How do you feel about 1901? Do you work with them on other projects?
I have not personally worked with them. So that's why the qualification statement that they provide will be incredibly helpful with determining their qualifications for this project.
I had heard that they do all the school work and infrastructure for Epic.
Oh, okay.
Is that true, Pat? Do you know that?
I do not know. It's entirely possible.
That's something I was told.
Any other questions for that?
Okay. Well, then we'll move on to item D, consideration discussion strand engineering task order 26-01 Village Hall renovation. Page 63 of your packet.
Yeah, so this is also, coming from Strand. We also have Laura from Strand joining us. This is the task order that would approve Strand Engineering as our village engineer to begin the work on the engineering and design of the Village Hall renovation project. That piece of the project is $100,000 that was approved in the 2026 CIP. The actual remodel of Village Hall is in the 2027 CIP for $1 million. So I know there's been maybe a little bit of confusion there. We are designing and engineering in 2026, remodeling in 2027, and that remodel will not start until after the April elections next year, because as we all know, the community room and boardroom are heavily used during that time. So thankfully, 2027 is a somewhat light election year. We have potentially a February and then an April and then no fall elections. Whereas 2028, we will kick right into a presidential election year. So I will let Laura kind of take it from here and just talk about the task order. Laura, if there's anything you want to add or mention, they do have it in their packet.
Yeah, we're just starting the design process for that. So I think you may already know that you had UW Platteville students kind of take a look at the space and came up with a concept. So we're kind of starting from there, and we will, as soon as we get the task order signed, start really rolling on the design of the space.
So the UW Platteville student project really did help with this. We're not starting completely from ground zero. So I think it was nice for our team at Strand to have that information. Obviously, still need professionals on every step of the way, but it clears up maybe some of the initial work of figuring out what we're looking for in terms of the design. We would just need a motion to approve if that's what the board chooses to do.
Motion approved, task order number 2601.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Thank you, Jesse. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
See you, Pat and Laura. Consideration discussion R26-05 appointment full-time jury lineman worker.
Yeah, so we have our electric foreman, Pat Blair, here tonight as well. You all remember Pat from last meeting, I'm sure. But this is really exciting. We're going to be hopefully fully staffed in our electric utility as of the beginning of March. Bill Cosmeter, a very familiar name and face to the village, applied, and we offered him the job for the lineman. Pat met with him as well. Is super excited to work with him. Pat, feel free to add anything that I'm missing.
No, I don't think so. My hand's in the air for Bill Cosby.
So his resolution was included in the packet.
Okay. Further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item F, consideration discussion R 26-06. Community Development Investment Grant.
Yeah, so this probably looks familiar, maybe if you have a memory back to 2024. We are repassing this resolution, if you will, just with some updated dates. As we all know, there was a little bit of a delay in the hotel project timeline. So in order to apply for the grant that Green County Development and the hotel folks are working on, we need to have an updated resolution. So the same exact resolution, just 2026 instead of 2024.
I move to approve resolution 26.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Excuse me. Consideration discussion R 26-07, 2026 Village Park Pool Fee Schedule.
Yeah, so this is usually an annual resolution that we bring, or at least semi-annual, and it just formalizes the pool fees that we budget for the year prior.
How did we come up with these numbers this year?
Yeah, so we always meet with, when we go through the budgeting process, we always meet with department heads and folks that run certain departments. So we meet with Megan and Scott. Megan's our pool and park director. And we obviously look at numbers and just kind of see where the demand is, if we need to increase anything, et cetera, et cetera. So Megan has a large weigh-in on this, and we also look at other areas, you know, compare. Yeah, and make sure that we, you know, the pool is such an asset to the community in terms of folks wanting it here. So we are constantly looking at these fees to make sure that we are being vigilant with them. So. No, so we delayed the opening until tomorrow morning. Yep, tomorrow morning. So just because we just wanted everything to be very by the book. So yep.
What did we look like last year with the pool fees, the summer rec fees, and our budget? How did that look?
Yeah, I mean, pretty good as usual. I mean, you know, the pool's not breaking even per se, but we are constantly seeing increases specifically for our swimming lessons in the pool side. And then also, I'm really happy to report our youth ball programs in the last couple of years have completely turned around, which is really exciting. So yeah, we're seeing growth there. Our adult softball league has gotten really popular. There's actually demand for even more adult activities. So we're always meeting with Megan and kind of listening to those. And we send a survey out at the end of every year, which is something we started a couple of years ago and has always gotten really great reviews and feedback. So yeah, it's really nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much going on. The adult segment gets kind of in the cold weather.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, we are always looking at that. But I think a lot of the adults that play in the adult softball league also have kids that play in the youth league.
Yeah.
And so I think it's nice for them not to have to pick and choose. The adult softball league a little bit later, so their kids ball is done and they start up with the adults. So. Yeah.
Climate change should help it.
I'm going to go ahead and approve our 2607 for the 26 Village Park and Pool fee schedule.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Library project update. Amy?
Okay, on the exterior, you can see the soffit fascia going up. On the interior, that air handling unit was on the floor of the classroom. It is now in the mezzanine above the staff work area. It's quite a task getting it up there, but they managed it. Lighting is going in, glass in the doorways, fireplace is fully encased in brick now. March 6th will be for beginning of April. We'll be ready to do stuff.
Amy, you told me before, and I couldn't remember how you explained it. If you were always mentioning that we're under budget, so those fees, those extra monies that we have, they can, one, either be returned to the state, or you can spend it on what? I can't remember.
So right now, we're looking at things that we can spend that money on that are outside, that we had deemed outside of the grant budget, and that we were gonna pay for out of our own funds. So some of the technology, like our screen, we're gonna use that money for, yes, we're gonna try to use up as much as we can. Anything that is left over, the library will probably use for future operating costs or possibly roll into the account, so.
But I know you mentioned it, I couldn't remember all, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. The next item is committee appointments.
Yeah, so we have, one addition here, for historical preservation, which we've had a vacancy on for a little while, and Rob Cosmeter, approached the village and was interested, and I know Becca met with him, Larry met with him as well, but Becca thought he would be a great addition to the committee. I don't know, Becca, is there anything to add?
That's enthusiastic.
Yeah, he really wants to be involved, so I think that's always great to find those people that live here, so. The one change on the equipment list. Yep. Oh.
Motion to approve new committee appointment of Rob Cosmere.
By Pat.
Yeah.
Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda concerns a claim which has been made against the village and any possible legal action to compel compliance with a public record request. I believe that it is the interest of the village that we be able to speak freely as board members and with our attorney in order to properly consider these matters in which we could not do if claimants were allowed to observe our discussions. Therefore, I move that we go into closed session pursuant to state statute 1985-1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is likely to become involved. Discussion regarding the Sunshine Foundation tax exception claim and discussion on possible enforcement options related to EMS records request. So we need a motion to go into closed session.
You just made them all.
Yeah, I made them.
I second.
Roll call.
Jesse, yes or no?
Yes.
Alan, yes or no?
Yes.
Larry, yes or no?
Yes.
Becca, yes or no?
Yes.
Peggy, yes or no? Sarah, yes or no? Yes. Roger, yes or no?
Yes.
You have a roll call vote of 7-0.